Hello everyone. So today we'll start the discussion on, and I will share the notes of UPSC, whatever environment notes I made for UPSC prelims. So it's a long process. The notes. See, the thing is, there's no such thing as a perfect notes, right? What we do is we keep on improving our notes. We keep on changing our notes. So this is all PYQ, all PYQ from 2000 UPSC. Like what we will discuss in this, and what I will try to tell you is, again, the first thing is there's no perfect notes as such. The major aim, if you have read even topper interviews now, they will tell you that what you have to do, the thing which you have to do more often than not is to minimize your notes as much as possible. That's why you're seeing everything concise. But what we'll try to do is whatever notes I have made and whatever things I have done, I will try to explain it to you in a better way. So all UPSC questions, UPSC prelims question from 2000 to 2016, we'll try to discuss it here. We'll try to discuss some other topics also. So let's start. Let's not waste any time. So UPSC has asked one of the questions which was based on seed village concept, and they have asked what is seed village concept. Now what is seed village concept? It involves farmers for training in quality seed production. Now what they're doing, they're involved in quality seed production, and it's not only for self consumption, and thereby to make available quality seeds to others also at appropriate time and affordable cost. If you want to see how this thing is carried out, and if you want to see certain images, so let's do that. Let's see certain images. Just a second. So yes, so what we'll try to do is now we'll try to see certain images related to any particular topic. So that will help us in understanding that concept in a better manner. Or what do you say? That will help you in remembering that particular concept in a better manner. Just give me a second. What happens now when you try to do multiple things all at once? So yes, so see these farmers or these people. I don't know how much you can see. So these farmers are involved here, and they are doing something. So I'm talking about this particular image. So here you can see these farmers. So they are producing seeds not only for themselves but even for consumptions in other markets, right? So this is seed village concept. And again, what will happen? They will give you certain definitions or certain, what do you say, options in such a way that you will feel that all options are cool. But that is not the case. So involving farmers for training in quality seed production, and thereby to make available quality seeds to others at appropriate time and affordable cost. Now, first of all, the major question is how CO2. Now let's talk about some other concepts. How CO2 leads to global warming. So increasing CO2 raises the temperature of atmosphere. Global warming is happening because our temperature of the atmosphere is increasing, right? And why this whole thing is happening? Because the atmosphere is absorbing. When the level of CO2 increase now, then what happens? Atmosphere starts to absorb the infrared part of the solar radiation. They will ask you, they absorb the infrared part of the solar radiation or the ultraviolet part of the solar radiation? No, the temperature is increasing because of increasing CO2, because the atmosphere is absorbing infrared part of the solar radiation. So this part is very important, and this has been repeated again and again in the exam. And the other question which was repeated earlier was, which of the followings are mammals, or which of the followings are not mammals, or which of the followings are what is a fish? So sea cow and sea lion, they are mammals. You must have heard a question which was based on dugong. Dugong is a type of sea cow. So sea cow and sea lions are mammals, and seahorse is a fish. If you want to again see certain images based on that, let's see certain images so that these things, what do you say? We don't forget how they look. If you look at a certain figure, now these are seahorses. These are seahorse. So the figure you're seeing here, this is a seahorse, and this is a fish. Seahorse is a fish. And what are mammals? So mammals are, just a second. So what are your mammals? So this sea cow, and we have already read, and you will again read later on, that dugong. Dugong is a type of sea cow. Dugong. So sea cow are mammal. They are herbivorous marine mammals, right? So dugong is a mammal. Now, if we talk about, if you want to see sea lion, so sea lion is again a kind of mammal. So sea lion is again a kind of mammal. Just a second. Hope you can see these images. They look somewhat like Antarctic. Yes, see this. These are sea lions, right? So they are also mammals. Don't forget the dugong is a sea cow. Now let's try to discuss. Now even let's see certain things related to dugong, right? Because dugong has been asked in exams. So you can see a pattern here, that some here they're asking sea cow, sea lion, which of them are fish or not, or which of them are not mammals. So sea cow and sea lions are mammals. She horse is a fish. Remember this, very important, because it has been asked in UPSC earlier. So anything which has been asked in UPSC earlier, it becomes important. Now, Let's go to the dugong part. Let's try to see dugong because we have just read sea cow, na? So let's try to read dugong also. Now, dugong has also been asked. So the status of dugong is vulnerable. Do check its current status. And as far as I know, it's vulnerable only. It's a herbivorous marine animal. Remember this. Dugong is a herbivorous marine animal. And where does it found? It is found in Gulf of Mannar and Park Bay areas. If you make drawing of India's map, so this particular area, so here you will find the dugong, right? Gulf of Mannar and Park Bay areas before Sri Lanka, right? So here you will find Gulf of Mannar and what do you say, Dugong, and Dugong is under Schedule 1 of Wildlife Protection Act 1972. And Schedule 1, these they're what do you say, you cannot hunt them. There's so many restrictions under Schedule 1. We'll talk about all the schedules of WPA 1972 in detail. So again, remember, dugong is a herbivorous marine animal. They are found in Gulf of Mannar, Park Bay areas, in the southern tip of the Indian what do you say, mainland, and they are under Schedule 1 of WPA 1972. Now let's move back and let's read what we were reading. So now, so we have talked about sea cow, sea lion. Now let's talk about bio toilets. So now bio toilets again. Why we're reading? Because the question has been asked on it earlier. So how do you create, or what is the basic funda behind bio toilets? They're formed, or the basic funda is they decompose human waste by anaerobic microbial inoculum. What is anaerobic? In the absence of oxygen. Whenever something is happening in the absence of oxygen, it is called anaerobic, right? In the absence of oxygen. Now, what happens here? Again, let's try to understand. So, because they have asked a detailed question on bio toilets, so that's why. And this is a UPSC PYQ asked between 2000 to 2016. So it is very important. So it decomposes human waste in 100% eco-friendly manner, and it generates colorless as well as odorless water. So remember, sometimes they will create or write that it creates pungent smell or something like that. No, it generates colorless and odorless water and inflammable methane gas for cooking, water heating, and room heating, etc. as a byproduct. Now, let's talk about ecosystem. Sometimes they will ask you, what is ecosystem? These are basic questions. So, ecosystem is community of organisms. So, this is community of organisms along with the environment in which they are living. So, it's not only confined to the environment, it's both environment plus the community of organisms. So, it's a combination of both of them, organisms, community of organisms, along with the environment in which they're living, forms the ecosystem, right? So what we are trying to do, we're trying to see certain important areas. If you want to read more about these topics or these points, you can Google your own. But what we are trying to do right now is, if you have short of time and you want to go through those things which have been asked earlier or which has been asked by test series and everything, so we're doing that. Right now we're discussing UPSC previous year questions. Now again, NGRBA, the question has been framed on this. So what is NGRBA? National Ganga River Basin Authority. It's very important for males also. It was framed in this thing was came into existence 2009, but the Ganga Action Plan has been going on from 1986. And what is the unit of planning and management? They have even asked that what was the unit for planning and management in NGRBA? That is river basin is the unit of planning and management. It's not like Gram Panchayat or not a town or something like that. River basin is the unit of planning and management in NGRBA. Now the next question was why we have, again, you can see that here we are talking about spider monkey. Why we are talking about spider monkey? Because again, UPSC has asked a question in which they have asked which of the following organisms are not native to India. Not native to India. So spider monkey is not native to India. It is found in Central and South America. Now again, let's go back and let's see how does a spider monkey look like so that we can remember that thing. If you see certain diagrams, you can remember a thing in a better manner, right? So let's say, let's cross those things which we have already read. Now let's try to see spider monkey. And you will see that it is found in, so this is a spider monkey. It looks very cute. So this, just a second. So this thingy, this cutie pie, this is a spider monkey and it is found in areas like southern Mexico to Brazil. So it's not native to India, right? It's not native, and IUCN Red List has classified it as vulnerable, so that's why it becomes important. And two of its species are critically endangered. See, there are certain subspecies of spider monkey. Some of them are vulnerable, some of them are critically endangered. So again, some of them are even endangered. So it's not very, IUCN is not going to ask you, or UPSC is not going to ask you what is the status of it, because again, the status is also vulnerable, endangered, as well as critically endangered. But right now you have to understand that since UPSC has asked a question earlier, so you have to do certain research on spider monkey, not native to India. Now let's talk about BirdLife International. So what is a BirdLife International? It is a global partnership of conservation organization. And what does it do? So it identifies sites known as important bird and biodiversity India. Again, these organizations are important. We'll talk about a lot of organizations, BirdLife International, then we'll talk about Forest Carbon Partnership Facility and all those things. So again, what is BirdLife International? It's a global partnership of conservation organizations, and it identifies sites known as important bird and biodiversity areas. Now again, if you want to see how does a BirdLife International logo and everything looks like, first of all, where is the headquarter? Again, headquarter also important of BirdLife because they do ask these things. So headquarter, and generally remember one thing about headquarters. Generally, if you don't remember anything, Vienna is a very famous headquarter of lots of things, right? Geneva is a very famous headquarter of lots of things. So you have to see where is means which are the things which are where I'm just telling you, if you have to go for what you can say, even a tukka, so go for those tikka where there is high probability, like when Vienna, Geneva, and all those things. But here it's not the case. The BirdLife International headquarters is in Cambridge, United Kingdom, right? So these things you have to take care of. And believe me, the pattern of UPSC has become, especially in prelims these days, that you have to take a certain amount of educated guess. So BirdLife at International headquarter also we have just seen that it is in UK. Okay. Now, first of all, again, the question which is here is British biologist termed the term or coined the term biodiversity hotspot in 1988. So again, Norman Myers, this particular guy, he coined the term biodiversity hotspot in 1988, right? Now, if you see Norman Myers' picture and if you see how he looks like, he will remind you of Kabir Singh. I'm not kidding, dude. Just see his picture. Just see this guy and see his bearded look and everything. So maybe Kabir Singh got inspired from this Norman Myers. So he coined the term biodiversity hotspot in 1988. See his beard, dude. Everyone is keeping a beard these days. Maybe Norman Myers started it. Now let's move on. Such a sad joke. Now again, so why we have done those jibber jabber on Norman Myers? Because he was a British biologist who coined the term biodiversity hotspot in 1988. And why we are reading it? Because this is a UPSC PYQ. Now, again, what are the pollutants in drinking water in India? So the pollutants are arsenic, even arsenic is a pollutant, fluoride is a pollutant, uranium is a pollutant, and there was an extensive article in Hindu based on uranium, amount of uranium in Punjab, which was found in Punjab. Now, we have talked about one organization earlier, which was BirdLife International. Now, let's talk about another organization, which is Forest Carbon Partnership Facility. So, what is a Forest Carbon Partnership Facility? It is a global partnership of government, businesses, civil society, as well as individual people. So, it's not only confined to government or businesses. What do you say? It encompasses a different range of domain, right, or people, or societies, or civil societies, or government, or businesses, covering everything. What it does, it grants funds to developing countries. This is very important. So Forest Carbon Partnership Facility is granting fund to developing countries, but not to universities, individual, society, and institutions. Although it comprises of civil society and individual people, but when it comes to granting fund, it is fund granting fund to individual countries or developing countries, not to universities or individual, what do you say, so institutions and all those stuff. Now again, so this is about Forest Carbon Partnership Facility. Let me see whether we have any specific picture. Yes, we do. So this is about Forest Carbon Partnership Facility, FCPF. It is also a World Bank program. What we have to understand is this Carbon Partnership Facility is a World Bank program. So this is important from exam point of view. Now, if we have, let's see if we can have some images or if we can see some images or not. So this is what they're showing. So again, Forest Carbon Partnership Facility, it provides funds to developing countries and not to individuals, but it does comprise of individuals as well as different social means societies and all those stuff. Now let's again go back. Now let's talk about decomposer organisms. What does decomposer organism means? Now again, understand this. They have given you which of the following are decomposer organism: fungi, bacteria, viruses, both A and B, A, B, and C, all those things. Understand one thing: decomposer organisms are only fungi or bacteria, not virus. Virus are very bad. This novel coronavirus, you must have heard about all those things, right? So virus is not a decomposer organism. Fungi and bacteria are decomposer organisms, right? Cool. Now When we are talking about forest carbon partnership facility, na, we have left certain parts that they also assist countries in their red plus effect. Now, what is a red plus? What does red plus means? Now, this is important again because why? Because red plus has been asked again and again in different UPSC patterns. Now, you have to understand there were red, REDD, and then there is red plus. And this red plus also helps you in poverty reduction. So, what does the full form of red means? That is reducing emission from deforestation and forest degradation, right? So, this is red. And what does it do? It helps, as the name suggests, it helps in reducing emission. At the same time, it also plays a part. I'm talking about red plus here in poverty reduction. If you go to the text, if you go, and since there was a question based on it, so I've noted it down, so I will show it to you. Just a second. So what we are saying that this forest carbon partnership facility, they assist countries in their red plus efforts, right? Now, if you go back and see red plus, so you will see that UN Red Plus also, and this is a part of the UN Red Plus also contributes to poverty reduction. This was one of the options in UPSC. So this is true. UN Red Plus does contribute to poverty reduction. It also incentivizes if you're reducing emission, right? So we are talking about forest carbon partnership facility. It also implements preparedness properties, RPPs, and emission reduction programs, ERPs. So ERPs and RPPs are, what do you say? Uh, Organized by FCPF, Forest Carbon Partnership Facility. Now, we have talked about decomposer organism. Let's talk about photochemical smog. It is photochemical, so that means it happens in the presence of sunlight. Apart from photo, that is light, it consists of NO2O3, peroxyethyl nitrate, PAN, which is called PAN, peroxyethyl nitrate, acrolein, and formaldehyde. So, photochemical smog, NO2O3, PAN, sunlight, acrolein, and formaldehyde happens in the presence of sunlight. Cool. Now, INDC first came into existence in UNFCCC 2015, that is Paris Convention, intended nationally determined contribution. So, INDC came into existence in 2015. Now, alpha toxin. Now, alpha toxin is a kind of carcinogenic substance which is produced by moths or fungi. If you want to see it, if you want to see how this particular alpha toxin looks like, let's see it, dude. So see these corns we eat now. When you go to a theater and you eat sweet corns and all those stuff, see, these are the malts. These malts are called alpha toxin. And if you want to see what is alpha toxin, so you can even see what is an alpha toxin. So alpha toxin are poisonous carcinogens. They're poisonous carcinogens produced by certain molds. And as we have seen, even in the corn, you are seeing that alpha toxin scenario. Cool, dude. Now, Genetic Engineering Appraisal Committee. Again, the question has been asked earlier. It is framed under Environmental Protection Act 1986, which is under MOEF CC. Right? Genetic Engineering Appraisal Committee, GEAC, that is under Environmental Protection Act 1986. Now, Biocarbon Fund Initiative for Sustainable Forest Landscape. So this is Biocarbon Fund Initiative for Sustainable Forest Landscape. It is under World Bank. Who supports it, or what do you say, leads it? World Bank leads it. Biocarbon Fund Initiative for Sustainable Forest Landscape. Now, so ecosystem and decreasing productivity. Again, this is a very, very confusing thing. So ecosystem and decreasing productivity. Again, the question has been asked. Mangroves has the highest productivity, followed by grassland, followed by lakes, and followed by ocean. Our previously asked question. Neora Valley. Neora Valley is in West Bengal. And where in West Bengal? It's near Kalimpong. And Kalimpong is near Darjeeling, right? So Neora Valley National Park is in West Bengal. Namdapha National Park is in Arunachal Pradesh. And here the question has been again asked. The climate ranges from tropical to subtropical to temperate and Arctic. Namdapha, right? And one more thing which we have to understand: if you want to see Neora Valley, how does Neora Valley looks? Let's have a look at it. So this is Neora Valley. See this cutie pie here. And again, the question has been framed on this cutie pie also. So we'll talk about this later on. So this is Neora Valley National Park at very high altitude in Kalimpong district. Right. Cool. So ecosystem and decreasing productivity we have already done. Now fresh water in ice caps and glaciers, you will find much more fresh water as compared to groundwater. In groundwater, lesser fresh water is there as compared to ice caps and glaciers. So what we will do, we'll keep until here only. In the next session, we'll continue the discussion on UPSC prelims. And if you want the environment notes, I will share my number in the description box. You can give a WhatsApp message to me. So that's it. Thank you.